Hello there, it's me, Sari here again, and today I thought I'd let you in on some of the discoveries that I have made with these ink pads. I've got just one pigment ink pad from ColorBox, which is called Pink, and when I stamped it on a black piece of paper, it actually covered it rather well. I'm sure that if I were to cover the stamp up even more, let's say, I'll do a really good job with this. Let's see. Let's make this really pink. And you shouldn't press too hard with this because you are getting, you see where the ink has gone to the edges there. I mean, you will get that mark. So do not push the ink too hard or too deeply onto that. Let's see if I get a better result now. It does cover it a little bit better, doesn't it? So you see there's a little bit better coverage like that. It might get soaked up into the paper as we speak. Let's see if it does. So when it comes to pigment inks, I mean, they are more covering than dye inks. Dye inks are mostly sort of translucent, see-throughy sort of. I mean, the distress inks and everything goes into that category. I believe the Memento also goes into that category. So ColorBox Pigment Ink, and it's the pink color, and it does take a little bit of time to dry, and I think that it's better if you go in with a heat tool just to set it and make it dry. And the next thing I tried out was the chalk inks from ColorBox. I have started collecting some chalk inks because I haven't got more than these two really, from ColorBox that is. And I've got a really pale color which is called Peach Pastel, and another one which is called Berrylicious. And this is a black piece of paper, of course, so I stamped the peachy one here, and it can be shown. And I'm sure if I were to cover it up, perhaps I could get a better result. Let's see. And the same thing, I mean, just get a basis of a color there, and then dab it gently. Just on the surface, really. Don't do overboard, because then you will get that marking there. So I'm just going to stamp it on top of this one, just to see if there's anything I should. Well, it doesn't get that much better now, does it? So it's a really pale color, and since it is a chalk ink, I mean chalk ink, yeah, I mean I was thinking that it could have actually covered it rather well, because they say that chalk inks you can stamp on every kind of a surface really, so I'm just a little bit hesitant about that. And to my surprise, the Berrylicious color doesn't show at all. I mean, you can see that there is something there now, can't you? But it doesn't show up better than that. I will give it another go just to make you see that I'm not lying to you. But as you see that I'm dabbing it on, I mean, I might have an old ink pad, but I don't, because I haven't reused it before today. So even here you can see that it won't cover. I mean, there's no way in hell this one can cover a black piece of paper, because this is translucent as it is. And even if I drag it on like that, it doesn't really matter. So when it comes to chalk inks on black or dark surfaces, you might have to struggle. Whoopsie. Well, it does show a little bit better, but I'm just saying that if you are looking for a good result, you shouldn't go for chalk inks on black paper. So there you have it, a little bit of a better impression. Of course, if you would have stamped something with white underneath, and then you could have gotten that result perhaps. And then it's good to have a clear stamp so you know where to stamp it. So the next thing was I moved on to the Prima chalk ink. And this is why I did this comparison, because I wanted to compare chalk ink to chalk ink. And the Prima one really shows up well. This is there's a blossom tree, and then there's a green one which is called Moss Lawn. And they show up really well. And well, since they are chalk inks, I mean, it's said to I think it was Scrapbook Make Simple or Easy or something that said that depending on the type of ink. I mean, if it is a chalk ink, I mean ABC, or a dye ink ABCD, or let's say a pigment ink ABCD to P, the further away the letters are from the A letter, the quicker, or I mean the longer the drying time. In this case, I can't really say that this one dries quickly, because even this is a chalk ink and I have yet to see it dry really. It does smudge and leave a residue sort of. So moving on to the mixed media inks from ColorBox and Donna Salazar. These stamp fairly well as well. I have been smudging my finger here just to see how long it takes for it to dry. And this one also leaves a residue actually. So I might have to heat set these just to see if they will dry up or, or anything like that. You see, I can actually do it right now, come to think of it. Ow! Bloody hell, it's hot! Well, that should do it. So let's start with this one. Let's see if I've got a clean finger. Actually, it has dried. And let's see if I can use the same finger again. And it has dried as well. This one still releases. So let's take another finger then. And the green one is actually better. So let's see if I can take that one. I'm not sure if it... Let's take another finger. Might have... It might still release something. Let's take that finger. Well, a little bit. So I'm not sure if you can guarantee the fact that these won't leave some kind of a residue of color. But I thought it was fun to actually try these out. But the first thing I did was to stamp all of these colors on a piece of paper, and I sort of found it to be a really nice sort of if I were to plan this stamping thing, I could get a really nice background paper, and I couldn't I? So I tried these out, and I started off with this really pale one. And when I had stamped with the pink one here, and I had some ink left on the stamp, and I went on with this one, well, I got a sort of blended effect. So it seems like this one, these are really, I mean, this is a chalk ink versus a pigment ink, so I mean that one really took the color of this one. So this could be a fun technique to use, just to mix two ink pads together to get a another result. Let's see if I can show you what I mean. I'm not sure if I should recommend this as a method, but I'm thinking that it could be fun if you were interested in making some kind of a special project. So I'm just going to stamp the pigment ink there. I'm not going to bother about it being perfect or not. And then I'm just going to go over it with that pale. And you can see that it's taking the color there. So if I were to stamp it like that with that one, I could have a blended result. And then I could just swipe it to clean it up, sort of. Of course, you might think that, hey, you're using a lot of ink just to clean up this mess. Well, I am actually, but if you just want to try it out and make a different kind of a technique, well, you can make it. So in this case, this is the mixed one. And perhaps, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, this is a sharper pink anyway, so you can get it to become a sort of an more old looking pink. So, I mean, that was something that I discovered. And let's see what else. What else? And when I had started thinking about making a background piece of paper, then I started thinking, what if I would just stamp three balloons, and just make them work in a sort of a clean and simple looking card. And then that idea took me forward to die cutting some balloons and inking them up. So here they are, and if you want to see the result of the mixed media inks on white paper, these cover really well. So let's not miss out that chance of actually stamping the balloons once more. I'm just going to wipe this one off, so now it's beige again. And you see, if I'm going to dab it really hard, now, well, of course, now you get some sort of a mark there, so you had better take care of how you are putting on your ink, because that will immediately affect the result, stamping result. So take care of how you do your inking. So this is the pale one, peachy. Here we have it. It does cover it rather well, I must say. And this is a chalk ink, so this is a really good coverage from a chalk ink, I must say. So let's take another chalk ink. I mean, this one must be faulty, this one, because this one doesn't work. I mean, a chalk ink should have more coverage. I mean, if I compare it, I mean, both are chalk inks. I mean, I can't get my mind around this. Just don't understand it. And I didn't get just this kind of a coverage. I mean, I'm not happy with that at all when I come to think of it. If I compare it to that peachy one, I don't know what to think. So let's move ahead to the Primas. And you know what? When I try these out, because I haven't had these for long, I showed you in a scrap haul video that I got these, and I haven't used them until today. So when I took it in my hand and started stamping, I just felt, oh hey, that is a beautiful grip you get on that stamp or that ink pad. Beautiful, I must say. So I actually dashed over to Scrapbook it and placed another order, because I do like these. And if you have a lot of these, let's say these are solid stamps. I'm not just going to stamp it on top of that one now. If you have solid stamped images, I mean, it's really nice to make them cover the image completely. So in this case, I'm using chalk ink yet again. And let's go for an orange as well. I mean, these are just great to hold on to. Really nice. So if you're going to do a lot of stamping like this, I mean, for goodness sake, this is a brilliant idea that Ingrid Bolme had when she designed these for Prima. So let's see. They cover well. And as you can see, I did have some kind of a residue. I think it could be from the mixed media. And it sort of goes on top. So that's a nice idea, actually. You can get a really nice technique out of that one. So let's go for the... Let's see, I've done those. But I haven't done the ColorBox Pigment Inks. So let's do this one before I go further to the mixed media inks. So let's put that one in a row of its own. I mean, these are fairly similar in colour, I must say. And it covers well. I can't complain. And if I'm going to go for the mixed media now, because I do like the way I can bend this one. I get a sort of I can press the centre down to cover the ink cup. I like that part, actually. So let's see. So now I'm stamping. And I get this result. And it's a really nice coverage of the paper with that colour. And I'll try the other one as well. The lids are a bit tricky on that one though, because they they don't stick to the ink thingy itself that well. So I wish they would have come up with a better solution for the lid. So there's that peridot color. It's a sort of a minty green, turquoise blue mix. So here they are, but I must leave you with a final thing. When I stamped on this piece of black paper with these mixed media inks, my goodness, they were slippery. I mean, I almost slided and glided with these. You can see that it's a bit difficult to just make a perfect impression with those. So in that case, let's see if I could do a better job. I think I'll just turn it over just to see what happens. If I were to take another stamp and just put it down there. And when I see that I have gotten some ink here, you can see it rather well there, can't you? I just wipe it off, just in case it were to end up on the paper. So now I'm going to take my Fiskars stamp press, and I'm just going to place it on the paper like so, leaving my hands, whoa, like this, and then I'm just going to press it down. Give it an extra pressure there, and lift it up. And this is what it is. So it isn't slippery anymore. Let's see if I can show you what I mean. And I'm not trying to make it slippery, it just is. So I'm not sure if the surface of this paper makes it something extra. So just pay attention to that using different kinds of paper. So, you know, actually it doesn't. So it could be the back side of this paper is not as slippery as the front. But there we are. But still, I mean, if you have a sort of slippery paper or slippery surface, try the Fiskars stamp press out. I mean, they are great, I must say. So that's a little bit from me about chalk inks and pigment inks and using them on either white or black paper. So let's see. I mean, I do recommend these. I fell in love, I must say. So until I see you next time, bye bye.